All right, let's jump right in. I've got something really cool for us to look at today. It's a guide to over 100 archaeological sites in Jordan. And we're talking everything from world famous cities to these tiny, remote desert castles. So, to start, let's just see how it describes a couple of the really big ones. Okay, so first up, the big one, right? Petra. The guide describes it as one of Jordan's remarkable historical and archaeological locations, and it's connected to the Nabatean, Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic eras. Yep, makes perfect sense. Now, let's check out another incredible city, Jerish. The guide says, Jerish is one of Jordan's remarkable historical and archaeological locations connected to Nabatean, Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic eras. Hold on, that's the exact same text, word for word.
And you know what? It's not just these two. We're talking Carrick Castle, the Wadi Rum inscriptions, Mount Nebo. I mean, page after page, it's the same description for over 100 totally different sites. So what is going on here? Is this just the biggest copy-paste fail in publishing history? Or is there something deeper happening?
So, what if I told you this wasn't a mistake at all? What if it's completely intentional? Yeah. To figure this out, to get to the bottom of this mystery, we've got to stop looking at these as individual places. We need to start looking for the pattern, for the ideas the author is repeating over and over. Basically, we've got to put on our detective hats and hunt for clues. Okay, clue number one. This one pops up in every single entry, and it's all about one thing: geography. It's this idea of where Jordan is physically located in the world. And what's so wild is how specific the wording is. It doesn't matter if it's a fortress way down in the southern desert or a huge city up north. Every single one is described as being at the crossroads between Arabia, the Levant, and the Mediterranean world. See, the guide isn't just saying Jordan is a place you pass through. It's making a much bigger argument, that this land was the absolute center of the ancient world, a place where entire continents and cultures smashed into each other. So this is huge. When this guide uses the word crossroads, it doesn't just mean, a spot where two paths intersect. It means a hub, an epicenter for trade, a battleground for empires, a total melting pot for ideas. And that's the first piece of our puzzle. Every single spot in Jordan, according to this guide, shares this core identity as a center of constant interaction. All right, that's clue number one. But the story isn't just about space, it's also about time. The guide hammers home this idea of an incredible depth of history at every single location. And here it is, our second major clue. The text doesn't just vaguely say ancient history, no. At every single one of these 100-plus sites, it names the exact same four periods: Nabatean, Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic. Now think about that for a second. Why on earth would a tiny little desert inscription and a massive, sprawling Roman city both be defined by the exact same sequence of civilizations? This is why it matters so much. What the guide is doing here is telling a story of continuity. It's showing us how the Nabateans carved their cities right out of the rock, then the Romans came and paved over their trade routes, then the Byzantines built churches right on top of their old temples, and then the Islamic Caliphate set up forts along those very same strategic lines. It's literally layers of history, one piled on top of the other, happening everywhere you look. Okay, so we've got our location, a crossroads. We've got our timeline, these four layers of civilization. So what's the final clue? Well, it's the people. Who was actually here, moving through this land? This quote, which you guessed it, is also repeated in every single entry, really brings the whole thing to life. Traders, pilgrims, soldiers, and travelers. It wasn't just abstract empires bumping into each other, it was real people. Merchants hauling spices, believers making these epic spiritual journeys, Roman legionaries marching out to the frontier. This constant, nonstop flow of humanity, that's our third and final clue. And the guide connects those very people directly to the ruins you can still go and see today. I mean, it makes sense, right? The traders, they needed marketplaces. The soldiers, they needed forts. The Romans needed those famous roads, and absolutely everyone needed complex water systems to survive. These ruins, they're not just a pile of old stones. They're the physical proof, the literal footprints of millions and millions of those journeys. All right, let's recap. We've got all our clues: a crossroads location, four distinct layers of history, and this constant stream of travelers. It's time to put it all together and finally solve the mystery of the identical text. And the answer is actually incredibly simple, but also pretty profound. The author of this guide wants you to notice the repetition. It's not a bug. It's a feature. It's not an error to skim over. It's the entire point. The repetition is the message. Think about it. By using the exact same words to describe, say, a huge Crusader castle and a delicate Nabatean temple, the guide is making this really powerful statement. It's arguing that the story of Jordan isn't a bunch of separate, disconnected histories. No, it is one single, unified story that is shared by every town, every ruin, every single corner of the country. A story of being a central crossroads, shaped by these 4 successive layers of civilization and built by all the travelers who passed through. And this last quote, which, no surprise here, is also in every entry, just seals the deal. The guide is basically saying, look, you can go to any one of these 100 places, and you won't just find the story of that one spot. You'll find a perfect little example, a window, into the grand, repeating, unifying story of Jordan, and really, the entire Middle East. It's a really amazing way to think about history, right? Not just as a timeline of unique events, but as a set of powerful, repeating themes that give a place its identity. And it kind of leaves you with a big question to chew on. What's the hidden story, the one that gets told over and over again by the landmarks right where you live?